I will fool the shepherds. I will know their greatest fear. I will know your greatest fear. Wake up, Joseph. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, the show that's contractually obligated to never sleep again. Thankfully, I know just the thing to help with that, the Mandela Catalogue, a terrifying series of 6 videos here on YouTube that are guaranteed to give you nightmare fuel for weeks. Produced by Alex Kister, the Mandela Catalogue is the latest and greatest example from the increasingly popular world of analog horror. Think Local 58, Gemini Home Entertainment, The Walton Files. Apparently, there was just something about the 1980s that was utterly terrifying. Oh no, those shoulder pads, they're so big! Is that thing a cell phone or a brick? Kill it! Kill it with fire! Ex-President Ronald Reagan? No, get back, I can't handle your trickle-down economics. Anyway, all joking aside, the Mandela Catalogue tells its terrifying tale through a series of 1980s and 90s era VHS tapes, all originating in the mysterious Mandela County where children have started to go missing and a mysterious intruder is breaking into local homes. But what begins as a few simple home videos quickly descends into a tale of kidnapping, body swapping, religious conspiracy, and metaphysics. This one is gonna get dark, friends, so buckle up while we try to crack open the unholy horrors that exist inside the Mandela Catalogue. It's hard to say exactly where we should start the series, considering the first posted video isn't the one that the creator suggests watching first. But this upload, Overthrown, does set up our key theme, so I think starting here still makes the most sense. In it, we're presented with an animated version of the birth of Jesus coming specifically from a video series called The Beginner's Bible. And yeah, it gives you the classic tale of an angel Gabriel descending from heaven to tell Mary that she'll be giving birth to the Savior, Jesus Christ, who will bless us with love and joy and amazing Black Friday deals for everyone on our Christmas list. It is so nice to remember the reason for the season. Except this time, the Nativity story is just a little bit different. Our angel's name is redacted, and his face has been censored. For a brief moment, though, we glimpse behind the censor bar to see this. What looks to be a blue alien ripped straight out of James Cameron's Avatar. As he speaks, he glitches on the word angel.
I am the angel Gabriel.
Already you can tell that something is going wrong here. A suspicion that only grows once Gabriel starts speaking in binary. Apparently, the angels we have heard on high are very proficient with their ones and zeros. Turning on closed captions, we see that the whispers translate to a code that reads, I am the one true savior. I must reverse the delusion. Joseph is next. And indeed, Joseph, stepfather of Jesus, is next. As he sleeps, the angel speaks to him.
I will fool the shepherds. I will know their greatest fear.
Seriously? This is like the worst ASMR video. Lastly, we see the shepherds in the field meeting our angel, who once again declares himself to be the one true savior.
I have great news. I am your true savior.
Smash cut to black before we get red text saying, I deceived them. Such weak minds. Yep, we're in that part of YouTube again, friends. Sweet dreams, everyone. All right, but let's get a grip on everything that we're seeing here. First, whatever this thing is, it ain't an angel. Notice that only after it says, I know everything about what makes you human, does it reveal a human face. This thing is a shapeshifter, and its true form is what we saw at the beginning before the censor bar went up. That weird blue alien face. Notice too that it stumbles over the word angel, getting stuck on the letter A, almost as though it was trying to say, I am the alien, and then correcting itself. To me, this whole thing is very reminiscent of the ancient aliens theory, the idea that some intelligent extraterrestrials visited Earth in the prehistoric days and in the process spawned all human conceptions of gods and religions as humans were unable to comprehend what they had just witnessed. But let me be perfectly clear here, I'm not married to that theory. There's also plenty of evidence to suggest that this angel is in fact the devil himself, Satan. Again, with closed captions turned on, we get a special secret while the screen's black. Hidden in the closed captions is this message, quote, how frozen I became and powerless then. Ask it not, reader, for I write it not, because all language would be insufficient. I did not die, and I alive remained not. Think for thyself now, hast thou aught of wit? This quote, while poetic, is actually a direct excerpt from a classic work of literature called Dante's Inferno, specifically a part near the end of Canto 34. For those of you who don't know, Dante's Inferno is basically just a dude's trip through the various circles of H.E. double toothpicks. And this quote is coming from the end of his tour when Dante's in the frozen center of it all. And there he encounters Satan himself, chewing on some sinners. In fact, this line is his reaction to seeing the giant behemoth that is Satan. And he's not just chewing on any sinners, he's chewing on some liars and frauds. Judas, who lied to and betrayed Jesus, as well as Brutus and Cassius, the two men who betrayed and murdered Julius Caesar. So we see that fraud is the biggest sin as defined by the Inferno, the same type of fraud that we see our angel committing to Mary, Joseph, and the shepherds in the Mandela Catalogue. Could our angel then potentially be Satan himself? It seems likely. In the final upload of season 1 titled Exhibition, we get another hidden quote in the closed captions, this time a Bible verse. Corinthians 11:14. Isn't it obvious that it's disgraceful for a man to have long hair? Oh, wait, sorry, wrong Corinthians. That's 1 Corinthians, not 2 Corinthians, sorry. But geez, Bible, really pushing everyone to get their sick fade on, huh? Anyway, after a long section talking about whether girls can pray with their heads uncovered or whether they just need to shave off their hair, here's the right quote for you. And no wonder, for Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. I mean, that right there seems pretty explicit. And just to hammer the point home, in another video warning about how people in this universe are losing their minds to a disorder called M.A.D, we're told to, quote, avoid religious practices, which again, seems like this is a world where Satan or that blue avatar alien, take your pick, has misled the masses and has seized control of the world's religions, manipulating their minds and causing them to go crazy. So it would seem that Satan has come to deceive the world, but why is he waiting all the way until the 80s to do anything with that? And what exactly is his plan? Well, either Satan's a big fan of Bon Jovi, or it has something to do with the analog part of analog horror, the television. You see, the 80s was perhaps the golden age of television. It was when cable became popular. Suddenly, instead of 3 channels, you had dozens. It was when the video cassette recorder allowed viewers to tape their favorite shows. It was when the TV remote allowed people to veg out on the couch and just surf. In short, the TV rose to prominence during this decade, and with it, the ability to reach the masses almost anytime, anywhere. Something that a fake brainwashing angel would probably love to exploit. In the final upload of season 1, we see that the government has issued something called the Television and Mirror Destruction Order, saying that if a loved one has come into contact with one of these items, you have to contact the local authorities right away. In other words, TVs are dangerous in this universe, and also mirrors. So let's reflect on that. One thing that keeps getting brought up in the Mandela Catalogue is fear. Gabriel talks about how he desires to know the fear of Joseph and the shepherds. In another video, a training tape for emergency responders, they're expressly told to not talk to victims on the phone because you might accidentally reveal your fear. There's something absolutely chilling when you see an emergency services training video telling the only people who can help in a dire situation to cower in fear and let the innocents die. And in yet another video, we see an emergency alert about an onslaught of missing children that warns parents to keep their kids away from televisions because they might project frightening imagery. It would seem then that some entity, Satan or whoever, is using the TVs to broadcast fears into people's minds and into their homes. This again seems to coincide with the 1980s setting for this thing, and specifically the birth of the 24-hour news cycle. In 1980, the cable channel CNN launched, and in the process pioneered news as round-the-clock programming. Suddenly, it wasn't just a short 1-hour update at the end of each night, it was instead like sports, live and updating with all the latest and all the worst headlines that humanity had to offer at any hour of any day. A trend that is only accelerated with the internet and things like Twitter. Now, obviously, I'm just making an analogy here, a comparison to what's going on in the series, but it does seem like something that's happening here in the Mandela Catalogue. In the season 1 finale, we get a series of home videos by a young man named Mark Heathcliff. He's important for a lot of other reasons that we'll talk about later. Throughout his tapes, though, nothing much happens. Some church imagery, a door mysteriously opening and closing in the dark, but then we see this. A figure approaching him through a TV at night. We get this assessment from the cops that are looking at the footage, quote, Heathcliff has been paranoid for a prolonged period. To me, it seems to suggest that the TV was the thing that was causing his paranoia, whether literally summoning a shadow monster to taunt him, or else symbolically causing him to succumb to his darkest fears. In fact, the TV does appear to offer a physical portal into people's homes. Upload number 4, Intruder Alert, shows us this man, who is more than happy to whisper to us,
I am inside your home.
Well, that's a comforting thought. Can you feed the cat while you're in there? Also, notice the whispered voice. It sounds a lot like our angel friend. Anyway, throughout this video, we see him repeatedly appearing in televisions, which would be scary on its own, and it is, but he also appears to be stealing children out of their beds. Midway through the video, we get a PSA about the importance of taking care of your children. The PSA presents us with a crying baby who, when checked on by his mommy, has vanished out of its crib. The only person that was in the room, the TV intruder. And we know that he can get into and out of the house. presumably through the TV, as we see later in the same video our intruder roaming the house of the vanished child, hidden in the shadows. We're told that 3,426 children have gone missing over the past several weeks, so it looks like our dude here has been pretty darn busy. But why? What's he doing with all these children, and how is he doing it? Is it just sci-fi? Can he just teleport between TV screens? Well, yeah, it kinda seems like that. The video tells us that, quote, they exist on different spectrums, suggesting that this person, this intruder, may have the ability to appear and disappear from different spectra. Perhaps one that allows him to physically be broadcast into a home, or at the very least exist on a different plane of reality and appear and disappear at will. As we see in the short M.A.D. disorder video, an entity is invisible, it fades in to tell its victim something, and then it fades away, as if it were phasing in and out of reality. And if this intruder is in some way related to the Satan angel, or is himself Satan, then the ability to do that, to appear and disappear at will, isn't all that far-fetched. Which brings us to what's actually getting whispered here. In the M.A.D. disorder video, we're told that whatever's being said, it drives the victim insane, causing them to, in 97% of cases, end their own life. But what information is actually being spread here? What is prompting all this fear? Well, the title of the video in this case might be our biggest clue. M.A.D., in the context of the Mandela Catalogue, is short for something called metaphysical awareness disorder. Though we're never told what this thing is, only the deadly end results of what coming down with it entails, based on the words alone, I think we can get a pretty solid guess as to what it means. Metaphysics is all about the nature of reality. What exists? How does it exist? Basically a subject that is beyond our physical world and basic five senses. And the word awareness is just that. You're suddenly made aware of something. So what we have here is that this intruder, or these otherworldly beings, are telling their targets the nature of reality, or maybe a lie about it, which in turn causes the victim to lose their mind and ultimately end their own life. Actually very reminiscent of the opening lines of H.P. Lovecraft's Call of Cthulhu, which is also about reality, our existence, and how we can never truly comprehend the nature of that existence. Quote, the most merciful thing in the world, I think, is the inability of the human mind to correlate all its contents. We live on a placid island of ignorance in the midst of black seas of infinity, and it was not meant that we should voyage far. The sciences, each straining in its own direction, have hitherto harmed us little, but someday the piecing together of dissociated knowledge will open up such terrifying vistas of reality, and of our frightful position therein, that we shall either go mad from the revelation, or flee from the light into the peace and safety of a new dark age. In short, this is what I think's going on with the M.A.D. disorder and Mandela Catalogue. Otherworldly beings telling people about their place in reality, and us humans are just unable to comprehend it, which leads to a sudden and tragic end of our lives. As the video says, only 3% are able to be cured of this. And if these quote-unquote angels are indeed some sort of demon or alien, well, those are the exact type of creatures that would be able to speak on something like the subject of reality. So, in summary, we have ourselves Satan, or some alien, but probably Satan, disguising himself as a human to shape the world's religions. He's spreading fear via the newest and hottest technology of the 80s, television, and also spreading words about the true nature of reality in order to crush the lies of anyone he tells. Meanwhile, we have another intruder, which may or may not be the same character, using the spectrum of television to enter homes and steal away thousands of children. Talk about your feel-good horror stories for the holiday season. And I'm not even done. There's still a lot more to this story in the form of alternates, unstoppable mutant doppelgangers, as well as a mysterious society that's trying to piece things all back together with the help of a dead man. And here's the twist, friends. This guy may not be as evil as he first appears. But all that and more on the next installment, because let me tell you, there's a lot to cover here. So, in the meantime,